the Olympics and it's lift tour time! Coming into the Olympic Park where security told me I couldn't take in a carton of orange juice. That's a bit weird. Oh well, rather than letting him throw it away, I glugged it down as quick as possible. And now coming into the Olympic Park. This site is massive. It's over a mile from one end to the other and it's jam-packed full of people. Notice how wide this walkway is to cope with the large numbers of people. The crowd control here was very interesting and the staff managing crowd control were very good. They managed to keep the crowds moving while being very friendly. And unlike Medway Council's events, they did not infringe your human rights. And now, this was the Paralympics rather than the main Olympics because I hoped it'd be more quiet for Paralympics, but it wasn't. Oh well, and now on to the first event I had tickets for, in the main Olympic Stadium. And here is a taste of the atmosphere in the stadium.
With a new world record of 16 metres 74, confirmed in the silver. New European record. Questions, but first of all, a reflection on giving these athletes. Let's drop in on the field again in the men's.
And now let's go find some lifts. Rather than just sitting at your seat, you can actually wander around the stadium and get some different views of what's going on. The lifts here are Schindler's, but they're the older design of Schindler MRL and not the latest design. That's a bit weird. I'd rather they were the latest design of Schindler MRL as it's a bit better than these. Oh well, let's go ride the lifts.
Floor -1, door opening. Lift. Door opening. Lift. Floor -1, door.
moving on, it is very hard to explain quite how big this site is. All of the buildings are very far apart from each other. There is an awful lot of walking to do. This place is just massive. And now to the aquatic centre, which was shut today, which was annoying. And now on to the BMW place, which has cars on the roof. I wonder how they got them up there. But this only had a platform lift, not worth filming. And now on to McDonald's, and this McDonald's didn't have a lift, unlike the other one. And now to the Orbit, which has ThyssenKrupp lifts which go 3 meters a second, which isn't really fast enough.
Sorry, sticking the boring instructions to read. Oh, there you go. It will take you longer.
Is everyone excited to go up to the top?
Yes. Some promise are less keen.
Oh, really? No, it's fine. It will be worth it. Everyone's
I'm fine.
And so, Claire's still containing closed in, so that makes it okay for me personally, but yeah. But we're going up 85 metres. The whole thing is 114.5 metres tall. We're not going quite that high. But yeah, from 85 metres you can see into the Olympic Park and actually into the stadium. So it's really amazing.
A bit too early.
A bit too early though.
Yeah.
You can see the training bits where they train beforehand. So you might be able to see some prep training.
And now moving on to the Olympic shop, which I wasn't so impressed with. It was rather expensive. And now on to the other McDonald's, and I've never seen a McDonald's so big. And what's really interesting about it is the whole thing is a temporary building. It's going to come down after the Paralympics, and because it's a temporary building, the lift here wasn't any good, just as you would expect. It was a very cheap and crappy generic, and what was unusual is that it's a single speed lift. Now, you don't get a single speed lifts in the present day, and the only reason why this one was single speed is it does the entire journey at levelling speed.
Doors closing. Lift going up. First floor. Doors opening.
And now, the next building was made out of crates. That's a bit odd. And now along to Copper Box, which I didn't have tickets to, but I managed to sneak in. And here is Copper Box on the inside. And there was a lift here. It was an eco disc, but there was some idiot standing outside it who refused to let me ride it. To me, the Olympic Park very much reminds me of the Millennium Dome, because just like the Millennium Dome, the Olympic Park is a big government event. Also, just like Millennium Dome, the Olympic Park is so big you can't see everything in one day. Also, just like Millennium Dome, the whole thing feels very weird and surreal. Also, just like Millennium Dome, it's a limited time event, and once it's over, it's gone. You can't go back to see it later. Also, the various things in the Olympic Park done by the Olympic sponsors, like this Coca-Cola thing, are very zany, just like the things in the Millennium Dome. And here is the Coca-Cola thing. I don't really know how to describe this. It was rather, well, weird. And now along to the Riverbank Arena, which looked rather dull really. It didn't look very inspiring, it looks rather temporary. And now along to Eton Manor, which is the most northern point of the Olympic Park, and this also looked rather dull, and it was a very long walk to get here. And now along to the Velodrome, which looks really interesting and looks like it will have some good lifts in it. But it was shut today. And now along to the Acer building, who are another one of the Olympic sponsors. This also very much reminded me of the Millennium Dome. After queuing up outside, you are taken in and shown a very snazzy movie about how wonderful they are. Then after that, you are taken upstairs where there is a lift. But as this is a temporary building, obviously the lift wasn't very good.
Doors closing. Lift going up. First floor. Doors opening.
And now, upstairs, there were some Acer products on display, but they weren't very impressive. They all had some games on them, which were all very basic and not up to much. Anyway, now on to the next lift, which also went up to the second floor, which was their office.
Doors closing. Lift going up. Second floor. Doors opening.
The whole Olympic Park feels very artificial. There's loads of tarmac and the walkways are really wide due to the large numbers of people, but it gives it a very artificial feel. To try and make it feel more natural, they've added a wetlands walk, but it doesn't really feel very genuine. It feels like they've just added a bit of wetlands in the middle of an artificial place. And now, night time on the Olympic Park. And now to the basketball arena, which has Arona lifts. These are quite nice, but sadly they were hydraulic rather than MRL.
Doors closing. Lift going up. Going down. Going up.
And here is the atmosphere in the basketball arena for a game of wheelchair rugby. And you don't have to be at all interested in sport to enjoy wheelchair rugby. It is so fun. Anyone can enjoy it. It's so funny to watch.